I will say something a little bit controversial now, but it is how our world works. No matter what you do, whether it results in a monumental failure or a great victory, a wise individual will always find a way to justify it, providing you with a comforting explanation. Throughout history, wisdom has not been solely about education, growth, or solving immediate problems. The concept of wisdom, both in past centuries and today, often boils down to seemingly empty maxims or aphorisms that you've probably encountered while browsing online. I'm referring to those charming images adorned with phrases that attempt to sound profound, such as Oscar Wilde's "Be yourself, everyone else is already taken," or Eleanor Roosevelt's "Do one thing every day that scares you." They may sound good, but the real questions are they truly wise, and more importantly, can such wisdom truly benefit you? To illustrate this problem, let's consider a straightforward example. Envision yourself as a young entrepreneur with the bold ambition to challenge giants like Coca-Cola and other beverage industry titans by launching your own brand, spicy drink. You take a big loan, do lots of research, and create a unique flavor. If it works out, and people love your drink, a wise person might say something like, "Fortune favors the brave," or "The harder you work, the luckier you get." Sounds wise, doesn't it? But hold on. If you undertake the same venture but encounter failure, no one purchases your drink, or worse, your partner runs off with your money, leaving you to face irate creditors and possibly even jail, a wise person will approach you with counsel like, "Don't bite off more than you can chew," or "The road to hell is paved with good intentions." That's considered wise too. Slavoj Žižek, a Slovenian philosopher, frequently criticized wisdom, branding it as the most disgusting and conformist concept anyone can imagine. To support his opinion, one day he shared a thought experiment. In this experiment, he presented 4 different yet similarly wise interpretations of the same subject. The first statement reads as follows: "Why chase fleeting pleasures? Think about eternity. Real happiness is in eternity." Sounds deep, is it? But wait. Now goes the second statement. "Why bother with eternity? Enjoy what you have now. Grab what's within your reach." Sounds opposite to the first one statement, doesn't it? But we're not finished yet. A wise person can keep going. Third statement. "Why be torn between temporary and eternal? True wisdom is seeing eternity in fleeting pleasures." The first statement emphasizes eternity, the second earthly pleasures, and the third combines both realms of existence in a harmonious and soothing manner. But what about the fourth possibility? And here it goes. We're stuck between eternity and temporary existence, whether by divine decree or the laws of physics. Why worry if we can't change it? Layers upon layers of seemingly profound statements can be crafted about anything. When spoken with the appropriate gravitas, all of them appear genuinely wise. Everything you say, do, or abstain from can be supported by countless wise words, slogans, or quotations. Often they sound beautiful but hold little value. The primary concept is that wise individuals are essentially saying nothing, but they say it in a way that makes people feel understood, like if the message speaks directly to them. It's a bit like astrology. Wisdom feels like it tells you the truth about yourself. It is so universally applicable that everyone recognizes a reflection of themselves within it. Wisdom can be interpreted in any way, so it's often just empty words designed to manipulate and appeal to as many people as possible. In a form of messages or quotations, they serve a distinct purpose. They aim to identify people's struggles and offer them reassurance. It's a bit like ideological propaganda, isn't it? Well, it is precisely that. Wisdom in our world is just the agenda of a wise person who gets to you first, and it presented to you as the ultimate truth. In varying circumstances, it serves different objectives, motivating us to take action, make a purchase, or vote for someone. Wisdom can push us to donate money to a speaker's cause, acknowledge his authority, or fulfill whatever other desires he have. To understand this better, let's delve into one more thought experiment, but this time, It will involve people and situations that may closely resemble your own life. Such exercise will help us identify who these wise talking manipulators are and shed light on their typical objectives. Imagine living in an authoritarian country with a stark divide separating the privileged upper class from the struggling masses. The rulers are determined to maintain their grip on power at any cost, fearing the consequences of revolution or modernization. To pacify the impoverished population, they spread the idea that earthly pleasures like wealth, fame, desire, and power, which might be attainable through changing the ruling order, are fleeting and ultimately meaningless. Instead, all citizens are urged to redirect their focus towards spiritual growth and the promise of an eternal reward. The authoritarian leader could support his message with a biblical quote, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moths and vermin do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal." The peculiar aspect lies not in the biblical quote itself, but in how it can be wielded for different purposes. In another scenario, the same source, the Bible, can be used by another wise-talking manipulator, but this time to advocate for indulging in earthly delights. Now picture having a hedonistic friend with an exceptional love for alcohol who has become aware of your recent paycheck. He pays a visit and says that life is short and meaningless, and the only way to be happy is by enjoying yourself at a nearby pub. He dismisses concerns about consequences, societal impacts, or environmental harm, emphasizing seizing the moment and a glass of whiskey. "Let's go out, have some drinks at a bar. You deserve a break after your hard work. Your spouse can manage the baby for one evening," he urges, reinforcing his pitch with another Bible quote, "Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die." It also sounds remarkably wise. For years you navigate life under the sway of these conflicting wisdoms from the same source. The authoritarian leader convinces you to accept a life of poverty and forsake aspirations, promising reward only in the afterlife. Your crafty friend enjoys your company, depleting your resources, leaving your family struggling without access to necessities like food and education. Not everything lasts forever. One day, your marriage crumbles, and your child is taken from you by court decree, leaving you isolated in an empty house. It's the perfect moment for a third manipulative wise speaker to enter your life. This time, it's a charismatic leader of a new cult that preys on suffering individuals who barely hold on to fragments of their old lives. He points to the connection between the temporal and the eternal, portraying life as a journey of discovery where each experience holds deeper meaning. He urges you not to spurn earthly pleasures, but to see them as divine expressions, opportunities for spiritual growth. To underscore his message, he invokes Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. "Nothing is worth more than this day. You cannot relive yesterday. Tomorrow is still beyond your reach." This appears to advocate living in the moment and finding eternity in the present, a message that prompts you to surrender your possessions to the cult. You lose all your money, car, home, and everything you get instead. A lonely bed in a cult's monastery where you should work on a farm during the day and pray at night for the rest of your days. Your prior guides, the authoritarian regime, pleasure-seeking friend, and cult leader fade into oblivion. They no longer seek opportunities to share their wisdom with you. The regime is content, as you pose no threat or aspiration for change. Your former friend, knowing your financial reality, loses interest in your company, as you can no longer fund his alcoholic tastes. For a brief period, you believe you found your life's path, thanks to the beam of wisdom placed by the cult leader. Then, one day, an unforeseen tragedy shatters your world. You fall ill, unable to afford medical care. You ask for help from the head of the monastery, where you've been meditating and farming for years. Unfortunately, the monastery lacks the funds, as most donations sustain the cult leader's luxurious lifestyle. The last bringer of wisdom for you, is the head of the cult's monastery. He insists that life is random and absurd, devoid of meaning or hope. With your unhealthy condition and pain suffering, he easily convinces you that everything is futile, beyond your control, and unworthy of concern. You begin questioning the worth of caring about anything, realizing your incapacity to alter circumstances. The monastery's leader, driven by a desire to preserve funds for his and the cult leader's personal expenses, invokes the authority of William Shakespeare. Life is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. This bleak outlook pushes you towards the belief that life holds no value, no answers, and that death is the sole resolution. And so the story concludes with you taking your own life. In retrospect, you cannot deny that you encountered wisdom throughout your life. It was drawn from the Bible and the profound writings of Shakespeare and Goethe. But did this wisdom help you secure your family's well-being, nurture your child, or propel your country towards a brighter future? Our last thought experiment may seem like a tale of a fictional character, yet often such narratives, distressingly non-fictional, unfold all around us. Many of us have endured or continue to suffer due to wise counsel imposed by people whose true intentions we do not fully comprehend. These phrases, or let's say, sparks of wisdom, aren't inherently malicious in themselves. The issue lies in the deceptive facade of ultimate truths and quick, clever solutions, offering no genuine advantages. They won't deepen your thinking, enhance your critical analysis of the world, or foster self-improvement. Instead, they possess the potential to sway you in unforeseen ways, and not all of them are beneficial to you. We already saw how wisdom can be used to manipulate and deceive us by people with hidden agendas. But how can we avoid being fooled by fake gurus and their empty words? How can we develop our own critical thinking and understanding? The answer lies in the power of philosophy. Throughout history, cunning individuals have wielded wisdom as a tool to manipulate and deceive others. Over 2,000 years ago, these crafty operators were known as sophists, and their seemingly profound ideas were often dismissed as sophisms. Authentic philosophers like Plato and Socrates regarded sophists with disdain, seeing them as charlatans who peddled shallow wisdom for personal gain. Sophists had mastered the art of employing rhetorical tricks to sway audiences during speeches. Some might argue that all philosophers share a common desire to showcase their wisdom for personal gain, while it's true that some philosophers achieved wealth through their intellectual pursuits. A clear distinction exists between a philosopher and a sophist. This distinction revolves around the purpose of their work. A true philosopher does not seek personal gain when seeking answers. His pursuit revolves around abstract knowledge that can deepen his understanding of the world and the nature of things. He aspired to uncover the purpose of existence, often delving into transcendental questions rather than pragmatic ones. In contrast, sophists remain firmly rooted in the present, fixated on extracting immediate benefits by revealing the purpose of things to their audience. Their typical methodology involves identifying the pain points of individual experiences in various aspects of life, whether in politics, society, culture, or art, and offering corresponding wisdom as a kind of remedy. Have you ever come across book titles like Philosophy for Brokers, Philosophy for Business Ladies, or Philosophy for a Happy Life? Each of these books aims to apply philosophy to areas such as relationships, careers, or personal happiness, unintentionally descending into sophistry in the process. All of them fundamentally aim to pinpoint the pain points of their audience and provide readers with seemingly achievable solutions. Yet, beneath the surface, they remain ideologically flexible, capable of supporting vastly different ideological claims. I will stimulate your thought process with a series of questions similar to those Socrates asked. In such cases, I will not preach to you, but aim to stir your thinking. Are you ready? Then let's begin. Do you genuinely believe that wisdom can be acquired through the mere purchase of books like the ones I just mentioned? Or do you truly think it can be obtained effortlessly, for free, given to you by an individual with unclear motivations? Isn't wisdom one of the most challenging attributes to attain in this world? If so, can it really be acquired by simply buying something like Philosophy of a Billionaire, or by listening to the sweet speeches of your favorite online guru, who claims to have done all the work for you? Don't you believe that wisdom encompasses more than just catchy slogans, inspirational quotes, and attractive imagery? There are many questions to ponder, as you can see. And the most important one is this: don't you feel that you deserve to uncover the truth for yourself, rather than unquestioningly accepting what others offer? During the era of the USSR, Lenin's quotes were used to justify or criticize any possible viewpoint. The same flexibility applies to most quotes of wisdom in general. They can be easily adapted to any situation, supporting various arguments. Do you think that the messages contained in Philosophy for Business Ladies are very different from those in Philosophy for a Happy Life? The difference between the two is no more significant than the variation between the cosmic truths revealed in weekly horoscopes for Cancer and Aries. Just as you can read an Aries horoscope to a Cancer person, making him believe it applies to his own sign, similarly, advice from a book on the philosophy of a happy life can appeal to a woman who wants to succeed in her career. Companies like Apple have capitalized on these empty aphorisms, transforming them into universal slogans or imperatives like "Think different." This slogan sounds wise, but it does not tell you what it means to think differently or why you should do it. It just makes you feel good about yourself and makes you want to buy their products. But thinking differently is not always a good thing. Sometimes it can lead to harmful choices, such as fishing with dynamite. If someone questions your actions, you can simply say, "Well, they told me to think differently." In today's digital age, where search engines like Google reign supreme, there is a significant following for those who provide easily digestible wisdom. Despite the fact that their self-help or self-improvement wisdom often has limited real-world effectiveness, people enthusiastically consume their content. It's essential to understand that philosophy doesn't offer wisdom in the same way as fast food ideas. It doesn't provide pre-packaged answers or program minds with ready-made solutions. Instead, the essence of philosophy lies in its capacity to investigate, challenge, and question systems that are presented as common sense or conventional wisdom. The primary goal of philosophy is to encourage us to break free from the rat race and all constraints of the daily grind, inspiring us to delve deeper into life's richness, explore the realms of art, and engage with profound thoughts. These intellectual pursuits are worth embarking upon, even if they do not neatly align with views of modern society. If you solely rely on sophist wisdom, slogans, and seemingly deep quotes, stripped of their original context, you won't become wiser. Instead, you might become a puppet, manipulated by individuals with hidden agendas. Liberation from the influence of fake gurus and their so-called wisdom lies within the realm of philosophy, and it's not hard to access. Philosophical works are readily available everywhere, in libraries near your home, in bookstores, and online. A suitable starting point is the legacy of ancient Greece. Consider this wise quote, which your socialist friend might send to you. Karl Marx's words, such as, "Democracy is the road to socialism." If your friend knows you're a devoted advocate of democracy, he could use this quote to support his argument in favor of transitioning you from democracy to socialism. Alternatively, the same quote could be sent to you by your anarchist friend, who might employ it to justify an entirely different perspective. He may try to convince you that democracy is merely the first step on the path leading to socialism, and that completely abandoning it in favor of supporting the anarchy movement is the way to go. Astonishing, isn't it? The same quote can be interpreted in one instance as a push towards socialism, and in another towards anarchy. With the same quote, "Democracy is the road to socialism," someone else could argue that democracy should always be monitored and supervised, as leaving it unchecked could result in socialism. With this narrative, This third person might persuade you to vote for an authoritarian leader who opposes any socialist-like policies. Instead of being swayed by the wise words of those around you, you can delve into Aristotle's Politics, a prime example of political philosophy. It's a relatively short read, but incredibly rewarding. Afterward, it becomes considerably more difficult for anyone to manipulate you with their wise words. The key takeaway here is that philosophy encompasses much more than just wisdom. In the same way that mathematics studied in school during one's youth extends beyond the ability to calculate taxes. Philosophy is a discipline that encourages us to probe and unravel the deeper meanings and purposes underlying existence. It equips us with the tools to forge our distinct viewpoints and comprehend the world, rather than relying solely on external so-called wisdom. It enriches our lives with beauty, wonder, and curiosity, in stark contrast to the constraints of conformity, complacency, and cynicism. How about you? Have you ever encountered a sophist or a fake wise guru who tried to manipulate you? Leave your reply in the comments section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.